to be able to locate someone who saw or knows what happened there, to lose two young lives like this, I hope these people will come forward and give us the information they have. Matt? Any questions?
Another simplest killing in Chicago.
So far, we've talked to several people, but I can't identify them as students or just Peoria residents. But I do know there was a combination of both at the party. Andy?
Second of all, were most of the folks at this party, were they students, or were they mostly people from outside? And can you tell based upon the votes, can you tell about the people that you have talked to?
Andy, there's approximately 100 people at this party. I have no idea what the percentage of Bradley students compared to Peoria people was. There's no way for me to know that. I haven't even located all the people who were at this party. We're still in the process. It's very early in the investigation, and I have no idea how many of them were Bradley students and how many were not.
Was there a spotter here?
I believe there was.
And how many shots did it tone to or alert?
And this one was inside. I'm sorry. I was thinking of the other one. The other one had the shots fired. This one, I don't believe it. I think we responded to a report of shots fired on the Bradley case. The one on Wyoming, we had the shots fired indication of several shots fired.
Okay, so there was no shot fired. You happen to have gotten calls.
That's correct.
From people about the shots fired. Were the victims found near each other, or were they found in separate parts of the house?
I'm not going to discuss the crime scene, Andy, because it's part of the investigation. I'm not going to say where they were located in the house.
Were they found inside of the house? Were they found outside of the house?
Both victims were found inside the house.
And have you found rounds? Have you found shell casings?
I'm not going to discuss any evidence that's been recovered at this time. And we haven't gotten that far yet either.
Were there any calls earlier noise complaints with having people in a house like that where they violate beforehand?
We had not received any calls to that house. As a matter of fact, checking the back history for that house for the last year, we had not had calls of trouble at that house at all.
There had been several parties there recently, this one and one maybe the prior weekend.
That I'm not aware of. So.
Last time you seen a double homicide?
Didn't research it, and it all depends what you're talking about. Double homicide, you're talking about two people killed simultaneously, or are you talking about two homicides very closely related in time? At the same time? I'd have to go back and research it. I couldn't answer, but it has happened. It's not,
Mike, can you is there any indication of any of these incidents being related?
and we're still trying to figure that out. We have to tie it together. There was another shooting that happened, and I'm sure you would think like me is when I saw the one that came in last night at Montana and Oregon, which is a block away from where the other one occurred. Are they related? I don't know, and that's part of the investigation. Hopefully we'll be able to reveal all that.
How many times were the victims shot inside the house?
I'm not going to discuss it, Gary. I don't want to say how many shots were fired or where the injuries were at on the person at this time.
Did Mr. Bell have no gang ties?
Not that I'm aware of.
Mr. Pullman certainly did, based on his relationships on Facebook and his photographs listed on Facebook.
And, he may have, but I guess, we're talking about murder investigation. We're talking about people who are dead. Whether they had gang affiliations or not, we need to find the people who did this.
No doubt, things are pretty difficult because they don't shoot for several years now, and that focuses on gun violence, and this seems to be part of that.
I understand that too.
I've been writing about crime for 20 years here. While long time. Laura, Mike, any of you guys know? Is this, cause to me, this is a first. I mean, I can't remember, at least in 20 years, something like this taking place.
And I'd have to look at it, Andy, to find that out for sure.
Off the top of your head.
Off the top of my head, I would say no, but I would qualify it with this. I've been doing this for 40 years.
Even better.
And I'll tell you what, we're very blessed in this community to have the health facilities that we have and the first responders that we have to render medical aid, because I can guarantee you that I've had people shot in this close of proximity and time to each other that have survived that did not die. So,
So Mike, what's the message to the community now, since this is the first time that anybody remembers this kind of a weekend happening? Should everyone be on edge? What's the message to the general public?
right. I don't believe at this time that there's a reason to be on edge. I don't believe Bradley University is targeted. I don't believe there's any other individuals that I know that are targeted at this time. And for somebody to go out and do whatever they want to do, I would feel comfortable. I would allow my family to do it. My granddaughter recently toured Bradley University, and I would have no problem with her going up there and walking around the campus at this time. So I would say just, this is a community problem. We can't solve it by ourselves. We have to have everybody involved in this, and, come forward. If you have information, please give it to us, because that's the only way we can solve crimes, is people coming forward and tell us what they know.
What do you say to people who likely know about the nature of John Bell's injuries? The fact that he was shot twice in the back of the head in the middle of the street at a reasonably decent hour that a lot of people would still feel like, a chance in hell that somebody's going to come forward to say about that? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Isn't that a pretty clear message?
And I know what you're saying as far as people probably fear to come forward to the police, is what you're relating to. And I understand people's fears. And, sometimes it's about doing the right thing. And it's not the only way that we solve crime. Sometimes, crimes are solved because you have a person that is trying to help themselves from a crime that they may have committed. And to be able to come forward and say, I know this about this. And there's many ways that we solve crimes. And I understand fear, but maybe I don't understand enough, because if I saw something like that, I'd have a hard problem living with myself and knowing that I did nothing. That just doesn't make sense to me.
Based on what's wrong now.
Oh, yeah. And everybody does have information. Peoria Police Department or the Crime Stoppers number. It's like I said, that's the only way that we solve crime, is for people to come forward and let us know what they know. Because we can't be out there and doing it all.
Mike, back to some of this. I mean, you have 5 folks shot. You have three dead. Have you guys been hearing anything about activities that is leading up to this? Is there a turf battle? And I know they might have talked about gang, but it doesn't even have to be gang. It could be anything. Have you been hearing about this whatsoever?
We don't have information at that time that this is related to any type of turf battle or gang activity, but that is part of the investigation. Is there anything that's tying these things together? And that's part of what we'll do, is look to see if there is.
Is there anything shocking about the number of shots? I mean, I believe Mr. Bell was struck 10 of the time. Seems like, according to Jamie's press releases, all 3 folks were struck in the head in some way. Are you struck at all by the violence that we are seeing?
And I'm struck by all of them. Okay, I don't care if a person's shot in the leg and that's what kills them. And I understand people here are shot in the head and that's what killed you. Every one of these should shock everybody in this room and should shock everybody in this community. When I'm shot in the leg and I died because my femur got hit and my artery got cut, and even if I don't die, I mean, it should shock everybody that this is occurring and you need to step forward and you need to make this stop. We can't do it by ourselves. We have to have the community behind us to get it done.
Has crime stoppers upped its amount of money, you think, to try to get folks to call in?
Not that I'm aware of, they haven't, so. Okay. Thanks, Warren. Crime Stoppers will pay $5,000 now on information leading to a homicide.
Maybe Chief or somebody else can answer. Is the police kind of step something up to kind of keep this violence from escalating even more as we get into the months where more people are going to be outside? Because currently it's been cold out. Are the police department going to step up to kind of hopefully de-escalate the situation?
Sure. One of the things that we do, we will conduct what's called directed patrols, so we will focus on areas. And then with the focus deterrent strategy, one of the things that we do is focus on the 1% of the violation that's 1% of the population that's driving the violence. So we will continue to focus on those individuals.
How many of the three people who were shot, the guy, I assume it was the man who was shot last night?
Yes.
Mr. Bell and Mr. Polis, have they been in front of a caller?
Not to my knowledge.
Hey, Chief,
Sir.
when it comes to, are you I mean, what can you do to talk to the folks who happen to live here? Because you have three shootings. Again, now granted you have two with the same base spot, but you have one that seemingly is unrelated. And then about a month back, you had the east bluff get shot up. Are we seeing a spat of gun violence, or is this just? I mean, can you tell? I mean, over the past few months, we've had a lot of shots fired and a lot of shooting.
You know, looking at the stats, Andy, if we looked at our shootings compared to last year, we had the same number of people shot. We had nine individuals hit, but we had seven.
What did you have?
Up until this current, this past weekend, we had 9 individuals hit in 7 incidents. Compared to 2017, we had 9 incidents with 9 individuals hit. However, our shots fired, what you're talking about with shot spotter alerts and just overall shots fired, are up compared to 2017.
So what are you guys doing? I mean, there's not. I mean, you can't stop folks from shooting guns. But what are you guys doing?
Well, that's where it goes back to the Detective Bureau, and they follow up and investigate the cases, and hopefully you end up making an arrest out of it. But you focus on the individuals that's driving the violence.
Are you guys close to trying to solve it and any of this? I mean, are there things that you have to know that you might not want to tell us?
Well, if I didn't want to tell you, why would I tell you if you're asking me now?
A lot of things, but you got.
Yeah. No, there's nothing. We will continue to address violence, and that's why I will reiterate, we will continue to address violence, and it won't be tolerated.
Based on the fact that you had 100 authority, are you optimistic that you will find the shooter? We interviewed someone who said there's anywhere between 2 to shooter.
Yes, again, as to what Captain Scally said, I would hope that out of 100 people that were there, that someone would be able to come forward and identify who the individual was. At least one person out of 100 should feel comfortable enough to cooperate.
Have the phone given you any credible leads or evidence that you have in custody or in possession?
We're still in the process of evaluating and examining the phone, so I don't have any information from that.
Have you talked to some people that give you reasonably optimistic that you will be able to find the person?
I don't have the information because the detectives are continuing to follow up on it. I don't know.
You know, there's 2 people who were residents there.
Are they over 21?
I believe they are.
Well, what
done that probably about 10 years ago or so, right around there. I don't know the exact date, but we've done that in the past, and what we found why it didn't work as well was because we were getting guns that were either antiques, that someone, their loved one that was deceased, they would come turn in the gun. We weren't getting the guns from the criminals off the streets.
At this time, there's been no tickets yet. Our focus has been on murder. Maybe down the line, we'll take a look at that, see what it looks like, but for right now, we haven't focused that stuff. It's part of the investigation that I want to discuss, but, we'll interview everybody we can identify who was in that house.
Yes, sir.
I think it's kind of what I referred to, Andy, was I don't know what the mix was there. I know it was a mix, but I don't know if it's 80% Bradley kids, 20% Peoria kids, or just the opposite. That's something that we'll determine in the future once we. The two tenants who rented the house. One is.
What, you, may have mentioned, Mike, this was a social media party, advertised party. What exactly do you mean by that?
My understanding is it was put out on social media that there's a party going to happen at this house at this time.
You guys seen that ad on social media?
We're researching it and trying to find out how it got up there, who put it up there, and to get the information.
Well, it's pretty easy to figure out, how to find it, but what I'm saying is, it's pretty easy to figure out how to do that. But on the other hand, do you guys know what it said?
We will. I can't tell you what it is standing here right now, Andy, but, we're looking into all these things. It's been kind of a busy couple of days.
All right.
Yes, ma'am.
Probably the procedural parts of announcing someone deceased. And I believe you have pronounced all three of these people.
Yes, ma'am, I was on scene.
I noticed the time of both Murray and Coleman's death was the same. And then in preliminary autopsy, there was suggestion that they both probably, she at least died instantly. I think you said similar.
Yeah.
Yeah. What accounts for that hour and 45 minutes?
We're not dispatched when the police are dispatched. So clearly there's going to be a time delay. Our expertise is death, right? So when we arrive, we pronounce death when we arrive. So there's obviously going to be a discrepancy of time from the time the police are there doing their investigation to the time that we arrive, and we lay eyes on the person and we pronounce death at that time.
Oh, and you've also spoken to her mother, Miss Murray's mother.
Yeah, I spoke with her today. Yes.
How does she say her daughter's name?
I didn't ask her that question.
We're saying it's right with Chicago.
Sure. No, I spoke with her mother and her family today, all who are reasonably upset and saddened by her loss, as well as our community as well. I know Bradley University is lowering their flags at half-mast in her honor. Her family spoke very, very highly of her. She was a brilliant, loving individual. So. Could you speak to the caliber of the weapons all three of the deceased? Were they the same caliber or were they different caliber? That I do not know the answer to.
If I can add, this incident, actually both incidents where a person was killed is tragic. So I know Miss Murray was a Bradley student, but I don't want to take away from the other two individuals that lost their life as well that are Peoria residents. So, and I'd also like to add that we are working with Bradley University, and they are fully cooperative. Chief Josco has been in contact with myself since the incident occurred, and so we are working together on this. Yeah, so what we'll do as part of our focused deterrence is look at and see if the investigation does develop that it is gang or group related, then we will focus on the gang or group that caused the violence, and we will do an enforcement action on that. And we're actually having a call in on April 12th, so this Thursday, and that was already scheduled, so it will not have anything to do with the homicide.
In terms of trends, we're looking at localized as far as last year. Do you believe there might be an increase in the number? I know you can't specifically say, but last year we had 1,300 guys, but now we're at 600. So, I believe if robbery happens, and we're able to come. How do you feel about that? Going into the summer?
You know, if going into the summer, which usually May is where our uptick of violence starts, but we focus on gang and group violence. That's what the focused deterrence is specifically designed to focus on. We're not going to be able to deter or stop incidents of domestic violence and arguments that occur that escalate that are not gang and group related. So that's one of the things that we focus on. We are trying to prevent the retaliatory shootings from happening. So in a perfect world, hopefully we won't have any more for the rest of the year, you know, but I can't predict how many we're going to have. All right. No, I think, as we always put out, we cannot arrest our way out of the violence. It takes the community to help us. You know, to see something, say something. If you see something suspicious, by all means, call the police, no matter how minor you think it might be or what time of day it is or anything. If you see something, say something so that we can address. But we will put out and update with as much information as we can. But again, due to the sensitive...
3 more senseless murders.
We cannot release a lot of information.
It's a shame.